Welcome back to another video interview at Global Railway Review. I'm Elliot Robinson, Editorial Assistant, and I'm happy to be joined by Alex Thompson, Principal Technical Officer at Network Rail. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time with me today.
No, of course.
So we're here today to talk about the £2 million Network Rail track upgrade in Staffordshire, which our readers and viewers will be very interested to hear more about. So can you start by giving us a general overview of the track upgrade?
Yeah, so it's on the North Staffs to Stoke line through Mere Tunnel. We did a 915-yard track renewal on both the Upstoke and the Downstoke. Primarily this is what we call a Cat 11 renewal on both lines, which is renewal of the ballast, sleepers and rail. It was basically 250mm ballast installed, EG 47 concrete sleepers, and then 756 rail. It was done over a 9-day blockade. There was roughly 5,500 man hours attributed to that work, 12 engineering trains, 2 tampers. There was also renewal of a cable trough route and renewal of signalling and telecoms equipment at the same time.
Why is now the right time to undergo this track upgrade?
So I think as a railway, we obviously work in control periods. The cost of the works is, as you said before, 1.9 million, £2 million. So that has to be sort of found within a control period. There's also access and haulage that needs to be considered when planning on sort of works of this size. And this is kind of where it fell in that time. We'd also looking at where this section of traffic kind of reached its point where maintenance intervention was no longer going to work. So it was getting to a point where it was going to pose an ESR risk to the route, which would obviously affect route performance. So yeah, it's kind of sort of the perfect storm of all those of money, haulage, coming at this time, and it's all sort of fell together.
How will this upgrade help passenger journeys?
So I think the biggest one is, like I say, so the track itself hasn't had a major upgrade within the tunnel since 1968, something like that. So it's kind of reached the end of its life expectancy. So installing the new components and doing this upgrade, it will reduce the risk of track failure, reduce the risk of ESRs being implemented. So it'll offer a lot more reliable service for passengers. It's also quite a heavy freight route, so it offers a lot more reliability for freight services as well. And I think it allows, basically it's a problem area that maintenance teams don't need to deal with now, so they can be sort of reallocate their time, resources to sort of higher priority sites on the route. So that sort of, it offers a more, so it's not just that area you're looking at, then your maintenance teams can be redistributed, I suppose, to where there might be more performance risk now.
Can you talk about the 175-year-old Staffordshire tunnel? Does it pose any additional challenges to the track upgrades?
So I think I'm not going to say I'm an expert in tunnels, but from what work we've done in there, so the tunnel itself is actually a mix of sort of brick construction and natural rock face, which I'm not sure if that's unique, but it's sort of it makes the structure a lot tighter gauge than if it was sort of all brick construction. There's also a drainage system that runs through there, it's got a very high velocity discharge. So that combined with the tight gauge meant working within the tunnel environment sort of more difficult than it would be normally. So the risk of damaging that drainage during the works would have posed a flooding issue, which presented so there was a lot more, not saying we don't take care normally, but a lot more care had to be taken when undertaking the works. This tunnel was also on a very steep gradient, which meant sort of trains and stuff, actually the engineering trains, we had to be a lot more precise in how we utilize them and stuff like that. And then just because it is 175 years old, so we had to take a lot more care when using, obviously we're using sort of 20, 30 ton machines in there, so we had to take a lot more care during the works than perhaps if you're working in a normal plain line situation.
Great. That's all very interesting stuff. I want to thank you again for taking the time with me today.
No, it's good to speak to you. No, it's good.
And to our viewers, thank you for watching.